So I'm going to talk about neural impulses and how it pertains to training and specifically programming a microcycle. So a neural impulse describes the electrical signal sent from the brain to the muscle. So it originates in the brain, it then passes through the spinal cord and then reaches the muscle where force is produced. So we produce force through these neural impulses, through these messages from the brain. So in training, we can target the magnitude of the impulse, the rate of the impulse, and the duration of the impulse. Each one will involve different training means and induce different levels of fatigue. So when we're training the magnitude of impulse, this refers to high force for high periods of time. So the force time curve will look something like this. There's a slow buildup of force. We reach super high forces and then we're holding on to it for a long period of time, right? So this is gonna be things like heavy compound movements. So squatting, benching, deadlifting, RDLs, where we're producing high amounts of force and then sustaining that force for long periods of time. The rate of impulse involves high force for short periods of time. So we reach high forces super quickly and then it dips off fast, right? So this is gonna be high speed, explosive training. So sprinting, jumping, plyometrics, lighter, faster Olympic lifts. The duration, so when we're stressing the duration of the impulse, this is going to be low force for a long period of time. So the force time curve will look like this. We aren't reaching high levels of force right here on the y-axis, but we're holding on to it for a long period of time, right? So looking at this, the area under the force time curve, right here, right here, right here, that shows the neural activity, right? So when stressing the magnitude of impulse, it involves the greatest area under the force time curve. We reach high forces and we're holding on to it for long periods of time, right? So it's the greatest area under the force time curve, therefore it's going to induce the greatest amount of fatigue. So there's going to be high neural stress and high tissue stress when we're training the magnitude of the impulse through heavy, slow lifting. When training the rate of impulse, we'll have high neural stress because we're activating high threshold motor units at a super fast rate, but low tissue stress because there's a low time under tension. When training the duration of impulse, so this is your hypertrophy work, there will be low neural stress because we aren't activating high threshold motor units, but high tissue stress because we have a longer time under tension. So we can use this information to make programming decisions based off when we want to be performing our best. So when training the magnitude of the impulse, stressing the magnitude of the impulse through heavy strength training, it involves high neural stress, high tissue stress. So it's going to induce the greatest levels of fatigue and should therefore be done the furthest away from competition as possible. When stressing the rate of impulse, we need to be in a fresh state to get the most out of this, but it's not going to induce high levels of fatigue because it's a low time under tension, so this can be done the day before a game. When stressing the duration of impulse, it's not going to induce high neural stress, but it's going to induce high tissue stress, so it can lead to some soreness, some metabolic stress and fatigue, which is not something you want to do the day before a competition. So when stressing the magnitude and or duration of the impulse with high time under tension, you want to do this furthest away from the competition as possible.